And we are back. Wayne, the band is back together. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good. Yeah. Big day. Camp starting. Think about it. 29 years ago was my rookie camp in 1995.
Ooh,
Feel like that long ago?
ooh. Oh, you're still a young. To me, you're still a young fella. I don't want
Yeah.
to. I don't want to hear any different.
Tell that to my body.
Yeah. Oh,
How's everything with you?
it's good. We'll get into all the camp stuff. Yeah, it just popped into my mind. I met Fred Baxter today.
He's
Tight end.
one of the guys, big baby they call him. He's one of the guys that kind of took me in my rookie year. My locker was right by his, and
Okay, I
great
was
guy, great
wondering
guy.
if like I knew you were together in the locker room, but I didn't know if you crossed paths or not. So he did mentor you, huh?
Yeah, one of the guys that just kind of believed in me, kind of like brought me along to everything. But he's certainly a guy I still keep in touch with.
Yeah, he was talking about because I was talking with Dan Leberfeld, and Dan's been around forever, so he knows Fred. Fred knows him. He walked up to Dan, and I had no idea. He used to play baseball, and he's a golf coach now, apparently.
Yeah, Leverfield from Jets Confidential.
Yes, yep.
He's still there.
He's still doing his thing. Yeah, I talked to Leberfeld. I talked to a lot because he- he's one of the guys where I'll listen. We go back and forth basically. Yeah, he's a good
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. I see Chimini and like Mars, couple of guys, but I never run into Dan. But he did some good articles on me while I was there, and always treated me fair. So if you see him again, tell him I said hello.
I will. I will. But yeah, Fred Baxter's doing good. Golf, baseball. Apparently, he
Yeah,
played on the Auburn team with Frank Thomas.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Mitts are
Exactly.
so big as for a
Yeah,
tight end. My God, his hands are huge. When I shook his hand, I felt
yeah.
like a mini human. It wasn't
All right.
even. It was ridiculous,
All right.
shameful.
While you're looking for stuff, I just want to shout out the obviously Greg Allo, go to
Hmm.
Jay, all good things. Micro Peeper, let's go Jets, 13-4 this year. Looks nice. Jetted out, commented to go to 15-2 to 11-6 at worst. Matthias Simon said great practice today. Clark looks like he can win that safety job, and the offense really looking good early. Okay, going on that, you said the offense started off great today with Rodgers to Garrett.
Yes. So I just sent out the notification. I'm going to tweet something. So 2 days so far. We're 2 days into camp, right? And yesterday was the first day, and the offense was a little rusty. It's not like Rodgers was bad or anything, or the offense was bad. A little rusty. It wasn't. It was more professional. It was more cool and calm and collected. But the coverage was outstanding. So even though Rodgers was a little rusty, it wasn't bad. The coverage was just great. Today, however, first play in teams, and you know how it is. They run through situations sometimes in teams.
Yeah.
Today, first play, double move with both guys on the outside, Lazard and Garrett Wilson, and good protection. And Rodgers hit Garrett Wilson for 60, 70-yard touchdown in stride with rack. So they attacked the aggressive Jets defense right away.
Was it 7-on-7 or was it team?
It was 11. It was teams.
Yeah, there's a big difference there because in
Yep.
7-on-7, obviously you're not running the ball, but I saw it. He hit him right in stride.
Yep.
It's you're gonna see that a lot. They had a great combination, but I heard Lazard was actually getting a little bit involved, which people were surprised by because they think he wasn't good last year. But they're mistaken if they think he's not gonna have a good year.
Yeah, he's had 2 good days, folks, and yesterday was even better than today. But it's obvious that first of all, I think Lazard's running Mike Williams' spot right now on the outside.
Okay.
But he and Rodgers are so in sync. They know what the other is thinking, and it works especially well in the red zone. And interestingly, each of the last 2 practices, the only 2 camp practices, has ended on a Lazard touchdown in red zone team drills.
Yeah.
So pretty good sign.
You know what's interesting? All right, so we have 3 new starting linemen, right? The 2 guys from Baltimore and Tyron Smith outside in the left tackle.
Yep.
All right. I would add saying that the 4th because Vera Tucker's back, right?
Yep.
So he seems like a pickup because he didn't play. And if you think about what we brought in, Lazard's kind of like coming in as a signee because last year, it was Mulligan. He had a bad year. He lost his quarterback, kind of went in the tank. He's kind of like having a new addition,
It is.
having a fresh year with Rodgers. And I expect big things. I saw him last year. He's huge.
He's a big dude.
Hands, but having this guy back, man, that's a nice little security blanket for Aaron.
Yeah, I get why fans get frustrated because of the contract, and I mean the contract's not outrageous, but for the lack of production, not matching the money, and I get that. But he's versatile. He could play slot, he could play outside, and he could help receivers in how Rodgers likes things. So
Yeah.
you can't do much better than him as a number 4 or 5 receiver.
How many years was Lazard in?
How many did he get in the contract, or has he been in the league?
How many years has he been in the league?
I want to say 5 or 6. Let's check it right now.
So he's pretty much the vet in the room then.
Yeah, because Malachi's a rook, Xavier's second year, Garrett's third year, and then you got Brownlee and Irv Charles. Mike Williams. Mike Williams is the other guy, but he's still not back in the fold yet. He's still on the sideline.
So Lazard's a vet. Like
He's a vet.
He's been there a little bit, but also he's huge. He's a monstrous blocker out there for the jet sweeps and the quick stuff to Garrett. So if you look at who's going to make the most impact that people forgot about, I think that he's going to be one of those guys, Lazard.
Yeah, I agree. And think about what they're going to try to do with bubble screens and design stuff on the edge.
Yeah,
having him blocking in the slot or outside is going to be a big thing, for Malachi, for Garrett, for Xavier.
Let's see. Corley and Xavier, how are they doing? And Brownlee, those guys.
Okay, so obviously Garrett had a few hauls today. He's in sync. Mike Williams, we know he's still coming back, and I think he's going to be back quicker than everyone realizes.
Yeah.
Xavier's been quiet the last 2 days. He's been out there with the starting team with Lazard and Garrett Wilson, but he's been quiet. He hasn't gotten the targets like he did in OTAs.
Yeah.
So that's something to watch for. He had a drop yesterday, and it wasn't the easiest catch. It was a shallow cross, and Rodgers kind of threw it on the back shoulder for. Yeah. I don't think there was a reason, because I don't think there was a guy coming the other way against the grain. And the ball went straight up in the air in the red zone. Fell incomplete, but it was dangerous. So that was a knock on him. But he's been quiet. Brownlee's been quiet. Irv, I think he's running on the second team with Corley. He's been quiet. Corley's been quiet too. It's been mainly Garrett, the tight ends, and Lazard so far.
You know what? I've seen online, I'm sure chat will agree with me. Rodgers, Garrett, all these different guys. I am hearing nothing about Breece Hall. I'm not hearing nothing about Breece Hall, nothing about that new kid from Wisconsin. I'm hearing nothing about the running backs.
Let me fill you in. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
So Breece looks phenomenal. And you know how it is in practice. The rushing plays don't even come close to touching the excitement of the passing plays in practice because there's no tackling. They're not in pads until next week, shorts, helmets. But what I've seen so far, after that Garrett Wilson first play bomb touchdown, there was a Breece rush, sort of a wide zone concept, something similar, and then a Braylon touch, and it looked good running to the right side behind Schweitzer and Max Mitchell, because even though AVT's back, he still is not in teams fully. Right. And same thing with Moses. Moses is still in the rehab area. Gotcha. So Braylon looks good, getting downhill fast and hard. Isaiah Davis, same thing. Breece and Tariq Cohen. Tariq Cohen, the vet, the little guy that's going to return kicks, could catch the ball like a receiver out of the backfield. I think he's going to make the team too. The guy who's on the outside looking in right now is Izzy. I think Izzy Abanaconda. He's got some work to do.
Yeah, he didn't do much, but this Cohen dude, when they signed him, I said something about it because I follow fantasy and stuff like that, but with David Montgomery there taking a lot of the workload. Cohen was good, with these new return rules and everything like that. Yeah, he's just one of those guys. Izzy, he got a chance a little bit at the end, but Cohen's much more of a better special teamer than him, so that might kind of give him more of a chance.
Yeah, I think Excuse me. I think Izzy's going to need an injury, unfortunately. And by the way, shout out to Izzy. He had a nice play today. Rush concept. Don't want to give away the actual concept, but broke through the right side of the line, went for the touchdown, and Xavier and Brees Hall, those two guys went right up to Izzy, congratulated him, tried to get him excited.
Right.
It's one of those situations where you could tell the kid might be frustrated,
Yeah.
like he's not turning heads, and then he comes into camp this year as a second year guy, and two rookies are ahead of him on the depth chart already.
It happens.
Yeah.
Johnny Boy said, man, this Jets fan base is going to go insane once A-Rod throws that first touchdown in the regular season. Let's go Sabo and Chrebet. Yeah. We're all going to hold our breath till play 5, obviously out in San Fran. It's going to be like that, when guys are coming off stuff, especially him, the whole world's looking at it.
Yeah.
Every time they go down or something's weird, they're going to think the worst, but you can't play like that. You can't think like that. You just got to hope for the best. Brees today said he will get 1,000 yards for sure.
Yep, he said
Certainly. That. I don't care. 17-game season. I don't care for the 12-game season. He had a chance at it. Dagoda said Garrett's a top 3 to 5 receiver with Rodgers healthy. I agree, man. He's special. Look what he did last year with Zach. Yeah. Brees will. So, how'd you like that picture of Zach Wilson throwing it to my son at the field?
Oh, dude, that was listen, say what you want about Zach, but he could sling it, man.
Yeah. So everybody knows Zach Wilson is engaged to a girl that went to high school with my oldest and my middle son. So he was in town and got together at a local high school with a couple of the friends went there, and Cade was out there running routes with him like 7 o'clock in the morning. And it's just wild to see Zach throwing to him and talking with him. He said he's a great kid. I only met him once, but he said Zach's got some zip on the ball.
What did he say about the experience? Did he feel like he put his A game forward or no?
Yeah, he said it was one of the cool, I'm his dad, but who cares?
Yeah.
He said throwing catch with Zach was one of the coolest things he's done. And I wish him the best out in Denver. Certainly a change of scenery has worked for Geno and Sam Darnold and some of these guys. So hopefully it works for him.
Yeah, man, he's got the coach. I mean, if you want any coach to try to turn around a guy who has, a cloudy head, for lack of a better word, it's Sean Payton. So I'm rooting for him too.
So defense, a lot of negative stuff about Sauce. People saying he's not top 10. He holds on every play.
Yeah, man, he's crazy.
Different things. How's it feeling in the locker room about that, or is it just noise, outside noise, or has Sauce commented on any of those?
That's a good question.
Pundits,
That's a good question. I haven't seen anything. For those in the chat, if you've seen anything with Sauce commenting on it, let us know. I don't think so. To me, it's insane. I was talking to Blewett earlier. I think talent evaluators or other people in the league knock him because they feel like he's too handsy and he gets away with stuff. There's an art to that. If you maintain contact throughout, see, if you're going to cover a guy, you just don't want a big differential, like no contact, no contact. You'll hurt yourself by penalties or separation. If you keep contact that entire time, which Sauce does, like you see Sauce, he stretches sometimes to keep contact. It just doesn't push the guy out of the way.
Yeah.
That's part of the deal, and you can't knock him for it. So I think the ranking's insane.
Yeah. Well, listen, the gun against, they don't get away as much as what it used to be. They could do anything to you. But
yes.
Just good change of direction, good hips, and if they're not calling it, they can't go holding on every play.
That's right.
You'd be silly if you were on an island out of corner and you weren't doing something to try to get them off their step or off the route. So, here's a question. Good question.
Wayne, real quick.
What's that? Go ahead.
Real quick. We're on Sauce. Check it out on the video on the screen here. I caught this. He was working overtime with the fans today. This was like 30 or 40 minutes after practice.
Yeah.
Last guy on the field signing autographs, doing his thing for the fans. So shout out to Sauce.
That's part of it. That's part of being a professional. That's part of being a leader, playing in New York or wherever else.
Mm-hmm.
Showing the fans matter, showing, he's the whole package. And that's why when you see him at a Knicks game or this game, going to those things, the support he has. And it's the kind of thing with a guy like that, with that personality, and that smile and all that stuff. If he was playing his whole career here, he's going to be one of those guys that people are always going to want to come after when he's down the street or get a picture of this and that. He's got that kind of like persona to him.
Yep.
Some guys leave, but the guys like him, Quinn and those guys, those guys will be forever remembered if they can bring a championship to New York.
Yeah, for sure. Like you could hear the kids screaming his name, and after this, he goes to another section, does it all over again, and I stopped recording. Like he kept staying out there.
I love it.
Yeah.
Matthias Simon. Here, what was Joe Douglas thinking with Redick? He had to know he would have to pay him. No, Redick, dude, he went back on his word. I can't blame Joe Douglas for that. I mean, didn't they have an agreement? So on restructuring his deal or doing something after the season started?
There's a lot of reports out there right now. No one really knows. I know they talked to him before they made the deal. But I think it's mainly comes down to this. Like, they hold all the cards. What's Redick going to do? Not play? He has to play.
Understand. This isn't a situation where he's got any leverage.
None. So the worst that happens is he sits out camp for 2-3 weeks, comes back, plays, has to play well on his walk year to get paid next year for that real contract. I don't see them extending him. At the very least, maybe they throw on a couple million extra dollars guaranteed this year, and Redick's camp could save face. That's kind of what I envision. But in terms of did he go back on his word or what happened? But I don't know. There's a lot of different reports out there.
Yeah. So just so people know what we're dealing with. Johnny Boyd says, question for Wayne. You being a professional player in the NFL, what would you say would be the biggest hurdle of a player coming back from injury like A-Rod and Clark? The biggest thing is just the off-the-field care, with physical therapy, stim, just any kind of, exercise that focus on that. And it's not just, the Achilles and working on that. You have to work on the other side too. You can't kind of be off balance. A lot of times when you're coming back for injury, you hurt the other leg because you're favoring it.
Right.
But you know what? I know A-Rod's, up there in years, but the way he's taking care of his body and stuff like that, and with medicine these days, he'd come back quicker. As long as they can get that scar tissue out of there, the stiffness shouldn't be there. So yeah, how it is these days, it's not like you're out for year and change like it used to be.
Yep. And guys, if you're nervous about Rodgers at all, don't be. The dude hasn't lost a thing on his arm. He's got it still between the ears, obviously. In terms of injury, okay. I mean, listen, he's 40 or 41 or whatever. But Wayne, you could attest to this. This is not the same NFL it used to be. Like, a 40-year-old quarterback can make it.
Listen, I played against Marino for how long?
Mm-hmm.
That guy had like a mechanical brace / whatever.
Yes.
Look up in 20 years how many rushing yards he had. It's like 10.
2. Yeah.
It's stupid.
Yeah, man. He tore his Achilles in the early 90s, and that knee brace he had on him was medieval.
I promise you. And that guy could sling it, and Aaron does the same thing off his back leg, off anything,
Yeah.
All right. What about this McDonald kid? Someone mentioned him. Is he going to be doing anything, especially if Redick's not out there?
So right now, here we go. Matthias Simon. Can McDonald take the next step like JJ did year 2? He can. The question is, can he do it in base with the big boys? Like, I think in sub package, when they're passing the ball, when they're getting ready for a pass, he's gonna take that leap. Can he do it in base? I don't know. Right now, without Reddick out there, it doesn't look great because it's Clemens opposite JJ.
Right.
And Clemens, I think mainly that's because of base. So McDonald's subbing in. McDonald made a hell of a play yesterday. In red zone, they were trying to go. Offense was going with a design bubble to the left. Michael Carter always strings it out, squeezes it to the sideline beautifully. But McDonald was in the perfect place to get the PD against Rodgers. Made his life difficult. So in terms of athleticism, Gumby, as Saleh calls him, he could take that next step for sure.
Yeah. I just think he needed the opportunity. I mean, he was drafted that high for a reason. You know
Yeah,
what I
no,
mean?
he's got
So,
athleticism for
yeah,
days.
I agree with that. What else? Oh, how is Coach Saleh? Is he any different this year on the
All right.
sideline? Is he just as energetic? What do you see from him on the sideline?
I think it would be unfair to say he's not as energetic. He's more professional. He's more businesslike, I'd say.
Yeah.
And one new thing, Wayne, you talked about it. We both wanted it, I think. All the penalties last year, the dumb penalties were horrid. These first 2 days, if you make a mistake, like a dead ball mistake, a false start offsides, you get yanked.
Okay. Good.
Simpson, Tyron Smith, even Tyron Smith had a false start, got yanked for a play.
Yeah.
So you're not if Saleh's not messing around, and he confirmed it after practice. Like if you make a mistake, you're going to get yanked for a play, and it's he didn't want to call it punishment. In Saleh, he doesn't go down those roads, so he didn't want to call it punishment. He wanted to call it a reminder to not make those mistakes. So whatever you want to call it, I think it's a good thing.
Listen, people have to be held accountable. You know, even if he does that to Tyron or this and that, sure off, after practice, whatever. Or he could be telling vets, listen, if I, have thick skin, because if I get after you, it's showing the young guys, that, hey, if the vets are getting called out on it. But Parcells used to make you run to the bubble, and if stuff was really bad, he'd make the coaches run to the bubble.
Yeah.
You want to fear embarrassment by Parcells or by some of these guys. So you're like, all right, I better not do this, better not do that. But yeah, so many stupid penalties last year and stuff right in front of them on the sideline and late hits. Can't happen this year. You can't keep drives alive for other teams. And that was one of my biggest complaints as far as how that was dealt with, those late hits and stuff like that last year. So maybe he changed it.
Agreed. I mean, there's definitely whether or not that continues and does it continue during the season is the question, but this is a good first step. I mean, if you're a young guy, you see Tyron Smith getting yanked, that's going to do something. And if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'm telling Saleh the same thing. Hey, if I make a mistake, a brain dead mistake, it happens to everyone, no matter how good you are, yank me, show these guys that no one's above that.
Right. J Quest 57. Good question. How early do you guys get the playbook? Is it first week of camp or prior? Well, they had that mini camp after the draft, and you kind of get a idea of the basics of it. Obviously, you don't put the whole thing in if you aren't gonna get to training camp for the most part. But once you get to camp, you have an idea of what everything is. But you get the playbook that day. You come in the day before, and then you get installation that night before. You start breaking it down. So yeah, you gotta catch on quick. It's not like you have months to figure it out, unless you're a quarterback or like a returning guy. But year to year that won't change as much. But yeah, now is not only the physical part, but the mental part and the putting the time in. So yeah, most of the guys got it probably yesterday.
Yeah, and Malachi's. It's going to take time. I mean, as a receiver, it's not the easiest thing coming in, especially with a Hall of Fame quarterback, right?
Yeah. So Thomas Gutman asked me about Lazard, my feeling. Yeah, if you rewind like 15 minutes back, yeah, he's going to be a completely different guy this year. He's going to be what they paid for last year, just delayed a year because when Rodgers went down, I could imagine he came to just play with Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
And that guy goes down and, replaced by someone not as good, obviously, but just someone they had no cohesion with.
Yes. It's coming in so cold to every game. It's a rough situation for sure. And we'll see. Yeah, I mean,
you know what? Oh, Jordan Travis not having to play right away.
Yeah.
Behind Rodgers. I don't know. That's massive. That's so massive. Look at some of the top guys in the league that didn't have to play right away.
Yeah, it's gonna be a positive, but right now he's still in. Remember what I said about Mike Williams? I think he's going to return faster than people think. It's the other way for Travis. I think his injury is going to hold him back a little. They signed a fourth quarterback, Ben Bryant, young kid, to have behind Peasley. Yeah. So they're hurting at third string quarterback right now. But yeah, no rush with Travis. He could learn. He could learn behind Rodgers.
All right, a couple more questions. Johnny boy, we need to retire 80's number. My favorite Jet. Thank you. No. We'll see what happens. It's not happening this year. So
yeah, but it's a guarantee. Let's be honest.
Listen, I don't want to talk about it.
I know you don't want to jinx it. You got that superstition in you, but there's a reason it hasn't been handed out yet.
Yeah.
I got this Johnny Boy's getting chants in the chat. Who is this? Dane O Jets YouTube. By the way, folks, for you YouTube only folks who don't stray to the website, we're news coming soon. We're putting in a membership platform for JetX. And Wayne's going to be heavily involved to do meet and greets. So stay tuned for that. Be subscribed to the channel so you can get notifications from all the shows. And if you do go to the website and the app, continue to do that as well, because most of the content will be on the website, but the YouTube stuff will be a nice little add-on.
Yeah.
And inexpensive too. Really inexpensive.
Yeah. Good. We went a little over today, but obviously everybody, we didn't have as many as usual. When our first time back for the season with chat and all that, but obviously we appreciate that, subscribe, all that stuff. But everybody had great comments. Look forward to more. And I think I'm going to write an article on what guys are going through right now, especially the bottom guys, the rookies and stuff like that. You'd be amazed at some
the grind of camp by Wayne Chrebet. Let's do it. Let's
grind of always thinking you're going to get hey, the coach wants to go see this. So
the grind of waiting for the bad news to hit. But
all right,
for Wayne, it never happened. All right, folks, we'll catch you next time. Wayne, we'll see you next week.
Okay.